I am back today taking a look at a brand new can that just hit the market from PTR. It's one of their more advanced cans, and this is the Vent Spiritus 556i, and we're going to be talking about all of the specs and features of this breakthrough technology. I also want to give a huge shout out to Gun Zone Deals for making this possible. Without Gun Zone Deals support on this particular video, we would not be doing it today. So again, a huge shout out to Gun Zone Deals. Now let's talk about the suppressor, why I like it so much, and just the overall specs and features and performance down at the range. Now, I actually got a chance to shoot some of the PTR vent suppressors at an industry event a year or two ago and really fell in love with their quality, but since then I've never actually had one out to the channel to try. Now, the previous generations and the current generations of a lot of the vent suppressors from PTR are made out of titanium. This one is different. It's made out of Inconel, and that's what the I is for at the end of the 556i. Inconel is going to be insanely strong and durable, and it's going to give you a ton of durability and long life out of this suppressor, and that's why I'm really excited about it. It's a flow-through suppressor with PIP, or purposely induced porosity, which we'll talk about in a second, with that 3D printing or additive technology. It's also hub compatible, and it works great as a true dedicated 556 can. We're going to pull this case to the side and dig into a little bit more detail. One of the first things I want to mention about this can is it is 3D printed with their vent technology. Now, when they 3D print these out of the Inconel, you are getting some pretty insane designs for that baffle system, as well as, I can tell right here and a little bit through that end cap, the purposely induced porosity. This is helping it vent in a wide variety of positions, allowing it to just dramatically reduce that back pressure and helping cool down times. It just works out incredibly well, and this is physically impossible to do with a traditional machining method, so that the technology is amazing that went into this. It also allows you to do a ton of really cool things like these hexagon stacks, allowing you to get a ton of grip and, again, more surface area to cool the suppressor while you're shooting. So that is being 3D printed with that additive technology out of Inconel, and that Inconel is going to be incredibly durable and last you a while. We'll talk about the kind of durability specs and features in a second, but let's go over all the rest of the can. At the end, you have flats on the back as well as hub compatible threads on the end, and I'm actually cranked this one in there so it doesn't come loose, but these are hub threads, and that industry standard hub thread, that 1x3824, is going to be standard for all of your mounts. So if you do have a dedicated mounting system that you're already kind of committed to, no matter what company it is, as long as they make a hub adapter, and most of them do, you can put the other company's hub adapter into these hub threads and now run it on whatever mounting system you want. This one actually ships with a hub adapter to 1/2x28 threads, which is going to be great for all those direct thread 556. And I had a lot of luck with this mounting system, but again, I have a few others that I'll probably end up adding some type of hub compatible adapter to the back, but I love that modularity and adaptability with this can. And it also makes it really easy to crank down because they did print standard flats. There's no proprietary tools needed to swap out that the device right here for that hub compatible device, whatever you may choose. You just simply slide your wrench flats on there, right there, and pop it off. You're good to go. Now, this is actually fairly lightweight because it is a very small can, but it does amazing with sound suppression. You were looking at about 15.2 ounces without the adapter. And when you were looking at some of the overall lengths, these are comparative to some of the K cans on the market, right at about 6 inches without the adapter. And when you're adding that 1/2x28 adapter to the end, you may be adding a 1/2 inch. So a fairly small can for the sound performance. And let's talk about that. I actually ran this can on a 16-inch barrel 556 running AAC ammo, and a huge shout out to AAC. I've been shooting their 55 grain a lot lately, but also their 62 grain, and that's what I was running in this particular test for this can. Now, on the 16-inch gun, I could easily run this without Ear Pro on a semi-auto, and for me, that's very unheard of on a 556 can, just because it's very hard to suppress 556 well. Now, I have shot 556 cans that feel hearing safe to me, no ringing in my ears, no sharp pitches in my ears that are causing issues. But on the flip side, you get a massive amount of gas back in your face on those other cans, and it almost makes it unusable because it's shoving so much gas in your eyes. You can't see, your eyes are tearing up, and it's just hard to concentrate on shooting because your face is full of gas. This does not do that. This sounds so amazing on that 16-inch, but there is zero gas back in your face. Mag dumps, single shots, double taps, it doesn't matter. This handles the gas mitigation perfectly because of that flow through and vent technology, as well as the purposely induced porosity. This thing is insane. This is also a truly dedicated 5.56 can. There's a lot of other kind of go-to 5.56 cans that I've used on the market, but they're actually the 6mm bores rather than a true 5.56. So you lose a little bit of sound suppression on those other cans. Not with this. You get the flow-through technology, and it works amazing when it comes to sound suppression. So if you were looking for a can, like a truly dedicated 5.56 rifle can, it's going to be hard to beat this when it comes to the flow-through technology, as well as the true kind of keeping that gas away from the end user with all of this vent technology. Another thing I want to mention is because it's Inconel, you are really getting some incredible durability. It's FA rated for 120 to 180 rounds. So that is freaking awesome right there, especially with the, again, the flow-through technology and size of the can. Now then you'll have to do a 10-minute cool down period to ambient temperature, but that's not really a big of a deal when you're talking about an FA rated 120 to 180. That's like a kind of like a 4-mag, 5-mag loadout. So pretty awesome right there. Now, the other thing I want to mention is the only minimum barrel length is going to be on 5.56, and that's going to be 10.5-inch minimum barrel length. So you are going to be able to run this on those shorter barrels, no issues whatsoever, just dumping rounds through it because it is Inconel. That is a great material to use to make cans, very tough and durable. And if you are running this on like a 5.7 by 28 or a 4.6 by 30, some of those newer rounds that just hit the market, well, the 4.6 by 30, the 5.7's been around forever, there is no barrel restriction. So if you do want a really nice 5.7 can with no barrel restrictions to just dump rounds through, this is going to be great as well. I love the can. I love the durability of the can. I love the flow-through nature and design characteristics of the can. The technology is insane on this PTR can, and I love the fact that Gun Zone Deals helped me out with this. They've been a huge supporter of the channel for a while now, and Gun Zone Deals is opening doors and allowing me to try out new and interesting products. So again, a huge shout out to PTR and Gun Zone Deals for making this possible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, whether you would try out a flow-through can like this. About the last thing I want to say is the MSRP is right around $1,200. It's not the cheapest in the world, but it does such an amazing job. Would you guys consider paying up for a can like this? I want to hear a yes or no in the comment section below. This will also help me drive kind of what types of cans we review in the future. Maybe a little of everything, maybe a little bit more premium, maybe a little more budget. I'd love to hear your answers. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.